Welcome back to the Chosen Life podcast. I am beyond excited, not just because I'm Jonathan A. Cohen, host of the show today, but we got our good friend, our brother from a different mother, Mr. Hove of the Ballin Realtors. He is back. Hove, how you doing, buddy?
Good, man. Always a pleasure to be here with you. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. And it's good to see you.
We are styling and profiling as usual.
Always, buddy. Always.
It's funny, we start talking off the air, and I'm like, Hove, we need to stop this conversation immediately.
Yeah.
We got to talk because we got to share. Because literally, folks, we haven't seen each other now in about a couple months, maybe a month and a half. It's been a little while. So I'm going to jump in, first of all, because today we're going to talk about the Bible 3.0, and you have read it.
Yeah.
You're excited.
I'm short like a chapter and a half. Let's call it the way it is.
You know, just a meaning of life. But, you know, that's not that important, right?
Yeah.
I got to let everybody know, first of all, before we start today's episode, it is sponsored by Jeremiah at Direct Nissan. So for your car needs, shoot over to Instagram, Jeremiah at Direct. I got my deal. I'm driving around my ride, and the guy is styling and profiling himself, and he's hooking up people with cars. He's been the top sales guy 2 months in a row.
Beautiful. Very nice.
I might be related to him, but we'll leave that for another day.
That's okay.
So we start off today's episode, and you asked me if it's okay if I chew the gum or I spit out the gum, right?
Yeah.
Do you want to hear a gum horror story?
Yeah.
If I wasn't there, I wouldn't believe it. So I'm on a famous or infamous first date.
Okay.
Okay, I'm at the patio sitting there, got my club soda sitting there and just watching the scenery. And person comes, she says hello, she's looking pretty fine. Said, hey, how's it going? Hove, I've never seen anything like this in my life. So, sitting there chatting it up at the beginning, pulls the gum out of her mouth, holding it in her hand, starts rolling it in her hand, and playing with the gum for about 2-3 minutes.
Okay.
I don't know about etiquette, but that to me does not seem right.
Did she try to put it in your mouth after?
No, she did not. I grabbed the Kleenex out of my pocket. I said, by the way, this is clean. That gum ain't. Maybe you want to put the gum away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What did she say?
She goes, oh, okay. I didn't know that bothered you. I don't know, man. You know, they used to have something called finishing school where people would learn proper etiquette. You put your fork, your knife, right?
Right.
There's a way to sit. There's a way to talk. There's a way to address people.
Yeah.
Gum rolling in your hand, I don't think is one of them.
I'll tell you something, bro. If I saw that in real life, I would call the person out and be like, what the hell are you doing? Like in a nice, somewhat respectable manner. But like, I would not be able to keep my mouth shut for that. Like that's absurd. Am I allowed to swear?
No.
Okay, we'll keep it.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's okay.
Would you finish off the date?
I mean, sure, yeah, I'll finish off the date, but at the end of the day, your opinion of the person is going to change. I'm sorry to say, like, okay, you shouldn't judge somebody based on certain things, but like, if you take your gum out and you're playing with it in your hand, like that says a little bit about your psyche, right? Like, you're a moron.
Well, let's go to number 2. How about that? Because on that same date, the person was very, very late.
Yeah.
So now,
I don't pass judgment on people's timing because I'm not the most punctual myself.
let me tell you why, though.
Yeah.
Let me tell you why. Because I picked strategically a restaurant because they told me they work beside LV downtown.
Okay.
What is LV downtown to you?
To me? Mm-hmm. What do you mean? Like
If I tell you I work beside LV downtown, where would I be working?
Louis Vuitton?
Louis Vuitton, right?
Yeah.
If I went up to 100 people downtown Toronto, asked them, where's LV downtown, what would they tell me? Louis Vuitton.
Louis Vuitton, yeah.
This person thought that LV is Liberty Village.
So she worked at Liberty Village?
Beside Liberty Village. So telling me I work beside LV downtown.
Right.
So that's why they were late because I picked beside Louis Vuitton.
Right.
Not thinking for a second LV is Liberty Village.
Yeah. Well, listen, I mean, brain power is not something that everybody has. No. So at the end of the day, I mean, you know.
You know what my mom would say? When God was handing out brains, she was in line for roast beef. On that note, the Bible 3.0. So we launched in January.
Yeah.
Books out there. It's in physical form. It's in electronic form, audiobook form. Very excited to let everybody know that I will be doing a tour of the U.S. I'll be out in the Arizona area.
Cool.
Going to be in Annapolis, Ohio, L.A. Going to be signing some autographs in Barnes and Nobles.
Nice.
So get to go meet the public and see people who have read or looking to read the book. So very happy to hear that you're almost at completion now. You and I have not had a chance to talk about it off air. Hove, I see the book is well worn. I can see it's been read. So, what are your thoughts? How has it been the read for you?
So, okay, I'll give you a real critique from good, bad, my opinion, other people's opinion, right? I'll step away and give you like a third person perspective too. So first and foremost, I think the book is great. What you've done is a beautiful piece of literature. And the way you've set it up is really good. So what do I mean by the way you've set it up? So the way that you've enumerated the chapters step by step. So first, you talk about yourself, okay? And you put yourself in a very vulnerable position and you open up about yourself because generally speaking, the person that reads this is searching for some sort of guidance or to reaffirm what they already know or maybe upgrade a little bit, okay? But in my opinion, this is going to help people that need the guidance, need the help. And oftentimes, somebody in that state is challenging to connect with, okay? Because they're in a certain place in their life that they're not particularly happy about. So anything you say or do, they're going to take defensively. They're going to take as negative criticism. Yeah, they got a wall up.
They're blocked.
And they don't want to, they do it. It's a defense mechanism. They don't want to get hurt. They're in that position. They know they're in that position. Other people criticize them for being in that position. So generally speaking, they're not getting the help and the guidance they need. Okay. But taking the step to read something like this, you're on the right path. Okay. So you open up about yourself, you talk about yourself, you put yourself in a very vulnerable position. So then therefore the person reading will relate to you in a level where you understand them. Okay. And they understand you. So all of a sudden, the biggest thing about communication that people don't realize, and I mean communication in everyday life, is finding similarities. Okay. Relationships, whether intimate or not, are often based on finding similarities. Okay. You see two people that are with each other and you wonder how the hell did they get together? Sometimes it's not only for good stuff. Sometimes it's you have stuff in common. You know, you like to go swimming, you go to the gym, you go to the movies, you read the same books, you listen to the same music. Sure. Right. That's one. Another thing, people connect on their trauma, okay? People connect on their trauma, and I don't think this is a good thing, personally, because I've seen it firsthand. I haven't been in this, like, luckily, whatever, right? But I've seen many people I know connect on their traumas, and it spirals bad, man, okay? And I don't think that's a good thing. But that's not really a conversation topic here. But you connect with people, you talk about yourself, they'll connect with you. Okay, through your traumas, but through who you are. All right. And then you shift and you start talking about how to get through it, which is nice because at that point you've hooked them in. Okay. The bait, they took the bait, they swallowed it, it's in there, right? They've connected with you, which is great because that's what you want. If you want to help somebody, they got to connect with you. So then you start enumerating how they can help themselves. Okay. So the first part of the book, I have nothing to say other than the fact that it was nice to get to know you, right? Which is a beautiful thing. You really open up. Second part of the book, I feel where you're talking about the main commandments. Okay. Now you give people commandments, guidelines, options, whatever you want to call it, on how to live a better life. And you are absolutely right in the things that you say. Okay, you're talking about sleep, food, fitness, yoga, right? It's amazing. Yeah. Meditation, yeah. And what I like about it is that you give everybody all the excuses that they'll come up with. Okay? So you tell them what it is, you tell them how to do it, and then you tell them the excuses that they would use not to do it, and they can't say anything. Because if somebody really wants to help themselves, the first thing they need to do is realize you are your own saboteur, right? So by you enumerating all of these, and now the person is your friend, okay? You're their friend, I should say, actually. So they're not going to get defensive from you because everybody knows, like, you and me, we could talk to two different people, right? Or we could talk to the same person that's got a problem, all right? You tell them one way if you're too short, if you're too abrasive, if you're not smoothing it in, right? Anything you say, they're going to take defensively. They're not going to take it in, they're going to block. But if they're my friend, if they've connected with me on something else, if I say to them, almost in the same manner, okay, but it's coming from me, they're going to take it in, oh yeah, okay, right. So you do that in the first part of the book. You get them. And then in the second part, you're giving them the tools And you're also breaking down their excuses, which is a beautiful thing. Okay. And so the third part, you finish it off. It's the icing on the cake, right? You just keep going, you keep elaborating and all that. And at that point, I think people are a lot more receptive, and they've forgotten so much about the traumas. They've forgotten so much about the actual commandments. And now they want to absorb. And this is my opinion. I could be wrong, right? But this is how I'm seeing it. I've talked with a lot of people that are in dark places in their minds, just because of the way like I walk my life, like I've come across different people, right? And there's a trend to how they respond, right? Oftentimes, unfortunately, these people won't stick to something and they go back, right? So that's when you got to keep reading and remind and have a few chapters that you really like to go back to, right? But you talk about a bunch of different things in the third part. So it's 3 parts really, right?
Absolutely.
First part is about you, second part is a chapter, third part is just it's everything else. And then you touch on a bunch of different things. You talk about living in the moment. You talk about letting go. You talk about manifestation, right? And these are all things that, will take somebody to an even higher level. Enlightenment, if you'll call it.
The road to enlightenment.
Yeah. You talk about your own gifts. You talk about life meaning and stuff, which I'm not done yet, right?
Almost there.
But so I like the way you did it. I like the trajectory you took. I like the way you set it up. You know who your target audience was, I think, or who you aimed it towards, right? Mm-hmm. And that target audience, it's written perfectly for them. But then also there's guys like me where I like it, right? I like what you're touching on. For me personally, I think in the second and third part, there's like, I don't need so many examples. I don't need the excuses why I wouldn't do it, right? But I understand why they're there.
Yeah.
So for me,
Reaffirmation.
yeah. So for me, that part is unnecessary, but it's welcome. It's not a drag to read. It's not challenging. It's not difficult, right? So overall, like this is a really, really, really good piece of literature. Okay. For that person. I think down the road, I think you should do something else, another piece,
Okay.
right? 10,
Tell me,
20
tell me.
years from now, right? And make it much more challenging. Make it much more direct. Make it much more I don't want to say crude or aggressive or anything like that, but just something that like it's for the advanced reader. Like this is for the beginner to intermediate, okay? Mm-hmm. But you should really do something for the advanced reader. Get rid of all the fluff, get rid of all the examples, get rid of all the reasons not to, right? Get it away from yourself. Don't make it personal anymore, right? Make it for the person that's already on the path to enlightenment, already knows all this, and just hit him hard, right? Hit him hard. Something food for thought. But for now, like you shouldn't even think about that, right?
Yeah.
Live in the moment, as you say, right? But then plan for the future, as you also say. But because I think you have the potential to. I think you have the potential to. And like this, a lot of people can really help themselves, bro, with this. And a lot of people won't read it, but they should. They really should. And I'm not saying that to be nice.
No, that's reality. That's reality.
Yeah.
I have a buddy that were at a mutual lunch the other day, okay? And I tell him, listen, I love you and everything, but the paunch, I see the stomach a little bit, and you were a workout fiend. What's going on with you? Level with me.
Yeah.
He says to me, listen, man, haven't hit a gym in 2 years. I had not touched the weight.
Yeah.
Okay? But I'm doing my walking,
Yeah.
I'm doing my walking, doing the occasional push-ups.
Yeah.
I was in a really bad place in work and life and everything else, but I'm starting to turn it around.
Right.
I told him, look, it's funny because you're mentioning this, and like this is like the sequel to the book almost.
Yeah.
So I'm telling him, do you want me to tell you what you want to hear, or do you want me to tell you the truth? He's like, tell me the truth. I said, these are all bloody excuses.
Yeah.
You made a point telling me in this conversation you built a home gym.
Right.
Today is Saturday. I want you to go work out Sunday. You have nothing on the go.
Yeah.
You don't have your kid. You have open schedule, no meeting schedule. I want you to go and work out. Can you do that? He goes, no. I said, why not? I'll be honest with you. I don't want to. I just don't want to. I'm not in that sphere. I'm going to keep doing my stuff. and by January, I'll start it up again. I'll start hitting the gym 3-5 times a week. Hove, the thing is, you are on the road to enlightenment. You're what I consider a very advanced person.
I appreciate that.
I can tell you that I wrote this book as much for you as I wrote for him.
Yeah.
One of the funny parts was what you mentioned, and you know, I'm taking so much in because you gave us a lot of great information there. One of the first things is you got to know me at the beginning, where I talked about my story and everything else.
Yeah.
Let me ask you, consciously or subconsciously, did you get to know yourself at the same time a little bit better?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Hearing my stories,
Yeah, for sure.
and where I was at different points, did it make you think of where you were at in your stories?
That's what happens, right? People start relating. People start thinking about themselves. When somebody talks about themselves, you can't help. See, the funny thing is, you have a conversation with somebody, okay? Generally speaking, the way conversations go, you say something about yourself, and it makes me relate to myself and say something about myself. So I think about myself. And that's not right, first of all. Okay. And the reason being is you're talking to me. I should take in what you're saying. I should listen to what you say. I should talk about what you're saying. I shouldn't wait to speak and immediately talk about myself. That's what most people do. You have a conversation with somebody, you say one thing, and then they want to say what they felt, or they want to say, yeah, but like chill out for a bit, right? Like give the speaker a chance to talk. Mm-hmm. Now, excuse me. The beauty is when you're reading a book like this, you can't talk to the person, okay? You have no choice but to take in everything that they're saying, and the only person you can talk to is yourself. And at that point, it's very hard to lie to yourself, okay? Because most people lie a little bit all the time, okay? And they do this for different reasons. Number one, they do it for their own self-confidence. Number two, they do it because they don't want to deal with reality sometimes. Okay, even if it's a little snippet of a lie, because people think, so I'm in real estate, okay? I have clients that, it's funny because it's almost like they think that if they convince me that their house is worth more, even though they know that it's not, right? But if they convince me, I'm gonna get more. It doesn't work like that, man. I don't control the market, okay? I can get you a couple extra bucks for sure. If I believe in the product, okay, fine. But like at the end of the day, what a lot of people don't realize, like, I don't care what your house looks like. I'm going to try to get you the most amount of money regardless. Mm-hmm. But then there are thresholds because we're dealing with a market. So we are working within the confines of that market.
Yes.
Okay? So when a person talks to you, or you're talking to a person, you're having a conversation, whatever the case may be, right? You say something like, oh, I went on this date with this girl. You were talking about, oh, I went on this date with this girl who was chewing her gum. Okay, how many have you told that story to a couple of people?
I try not to advertise that horrible fact.
Okay, so let's do a hypothesis here. Let's do an exercise. Okay, in the next week or so, tell that story to 5, 6, 7, 8 people, whatever you want, whatever you're comfortable with. Sure. Okay, and see how many take in your story, ask you questions about your story, and are somewhat intrigued or comment or just whatever, like they could like say gross or whatever, versus how many people tell you about their experiences. Okay. And listen, I didn't consciously not tell you about my experiences on purpose. Like I got all sorts of interesting experiences. I didn't, but like you're talking about yourself. I'm not going to shift the conversation on me. You said something. Mm-hmm. I'm going to take it in. Cool. If you ask me, hey, what's a weird thing that's happened to you? Cool, we can have that conversation. Now we could go back and forth. Now we're trying to one-up each other. It's a fun banter, right? Not to bring any offense to any women, right? But that's not what usually happens. So you tell me the story. I went out with this girl with the gum, and I'm going to tell you, oh, I went out with this other girl. She was drinking like whatever, right? And now, like, I'm basically just saying, okay, that's irrelevant. Let me speak, okay? And then most of the time, which there's no way for you really to find out, the person telling that new story to one up yours will embellish something, will change the perspective a little bit, okay? In a way that they've created it in their minds. All right, I went, like they'll say, I went out with this girl and the wine came, she grabbed the bottle, she was chugging from the bottle, right? And they'll say it like that, and then yeah, she was so into me. Like they got to throw that in there, you know? Like she was not so into you. Okay, leave it out. But why are you doing that? You're lying to yourself to feel good about yourself. But why do you need that?
But I gotta ask you a scary question then.
Yeah.
Because I think in most cases, they've told that lie enough, they actually believe it. I don't think they know reality anymore.
They do.
Hov.
No, they do.
You really think deep down they know?
Everybody does. But they've gotten so good at denying it
Yeah.
that they almost feel like if they trick you, now you're going to believe them. You're going to look at them a certain way, right? And then, but this is a problem though. Their confidence is based on your opinion. Okay? If your being, if your person, if your confidence is based on other people's opinions of you, well, then that means other people can break you down.
Absolutely.
This is a big problem. This is another big problem people have.
Yeah.
Right? Like, so people would say things to me, nice things, compliments, this, that. And like, I used to just shoo them away. Right? I'd be like, oh, wow, it could do better. It could do better. But then, see, that's almost a negative way. Now you're not even acknowledging the compliment because I didn't want to take a compliment from nobody, bro, unless I complimented myself. Like, I don't really care what anybody's opinion of me is. I know it's good. You can't not have a good opinion of me. Okay. And this is not me being arrogant or cocky or whatever. Like I come in, I show well, I present well, I'm intelligent, and I'm respectful.
I have never met a human on the face of the planet that ever had anything bad to say about you. I've met people that know you, don't know that I know you, mention your name, they only speak well. So you must be putting some good energy out there.
I do. I definitely do.
Yeah.
I definitely do.
But that was a conscientious decision. I think that that's how you want to live your life, you know? And it's very refreshing because a lot of people, you mention a name, and I don't think it's like you said, I don't care people's opinion, but yet you put good energy out there.
Yeah.
And so you don't have to worry about that. But there are people who don't put such good energy out there.
Yeah.
And I always ask them, it takes so much energy to fight with people. It takes so much energy to try to create this black image. It takes so much less energy. Why don't you just be nice to people? What happened to human decency? And this is one of the things I sit here in the year 2024, Hov, and I'm like, man, human decency is not there the way it used to be.
No. A little bit of common sense is thrown out. Decency is definitely thrown out. It's courtesy, common courtesy. Common courtesy is a thing that people overlook now in this part of the world. Yeah. Okay. In other parts of the world, not so much yet. But, 20 years ago, 25 years ago, if you weren't courteous, if you weren't respectful, you got called out for it. Okay. Yeah. And you were put in your place. Now that's not the case. Now everybody has, I have mental health issues. Oh, I'm tired. Oh, I'm drained. Who the fuck cares? Excuse my language, right? You don't have it bad. And even if you did, you could still be courteous. You can still be respectful. It's not hard. It's just who you are as a person, okay? And it also has to do with how you want to be treated as a person. So I treat people the way I want to be treated, okay? Until you give me the slightest inclination of disrespect, and then I will rip you apart. I will get very nasty very fast because I like putting people in their place. Okay,
I haven't seen it, and I never want to see it.
No, you're a respectful guy. It doesn't, you know what I mean?
Do
like
it
it's,
again,
but I love it. I look for it.
Yes.
I used to literally search for people to put in their place. Okay, but then it got to the point where it starts to get negative, right? You do something good for somebody on purpose just so to see a reaction. Simple example, like I would hold the door for people. Okay, just because I like holding the door. Male, female, whatever. Female, it's a little bit different. You're happy to do it, right? You open the door first, you let them in, whatever. But even for dudes, I'd hold the door. I'd walk in, I hold the door open for a dude, right? If people didn't say thank you, I started looking at them. You're welcome, right?
I do the same thing.
But you know what, though, bro? That's not right. That's what I realized. That's not right because now it's becoming personal. It's an ego thing. You're doing something, and you're not expecting a response. You want a response, but you don't want the response for yourself. You don't want the acknowledgement. You want the person to be aware enough to recognize that somebody did something good for them and they should be thankful. That's why I would want the response. Okay, like we're diving deep into my psyche. I don't think this is what the point of this was supposed to be. But
I gotta ask you a question now. I gotta ask you. I have an example of a story.
Yeah.
So I hear what you're saying. Now I'm thinking of an experience that I had.
Yeah.
I'd like to share with you that experience.
Sure.
And I want to know if I reacted the right way or not.
Sure. Go.
I remember walking in a mall.
Yeah.
And this woman is walking with her little kid, right?
Yeah.
And in their language, they were speaking Hebrew, and they said she said in that language to like a 5-6-year-old, "You're a dummy," and she pulled him.
Yeah.
I walked over to her, and in Hebrew, I looked at her. I said, "No, you're the dummy."
Yeah. No, I'm with you 100%, man.
Because I don't like when kids are talked to like that.
No. Nobody should be spoken to like that.
No, but especially kids, man. It is
Yes.
so fragile.
Yes.
They can't defend themselves.
No.
I think it's horrible.
100%.
She glared.
Yeah.
She was like frozen.
Yeah.
Turned all white.
Yeah.
And ran off.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Did I do the right thing?
100%, bro. 100%. You called her out. You called her out and you defended somebody that couldn't defend themselves. Okay?
Yep.
And you may have changed the trajectory of that kid's life. Okay?
Hopefully.
Okay, so I mean, not to do what I said earlier people do.
Yes.
Okay? So I acknowledge your story and I agree with you. And I'm going to give you an example as to what I've done. Okay? Only because so you can see. So
Please.
I'm walking into the martial arts gym one time, right? And similar story, I see a dad berating and yelling at his kid, right? You're an idiot. Nah, get out of the car. Nah, 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 right? Kid was hurting, man. So listen, I'm going to the gym. Like, generally speaking, I'm somewhat of an intimidating person as I am, right? Like, I got a serious demeanor. I'm dressed like this, whatever. But now imagine I'm going to the gym. I'm in a tank top, like I'm in the zone, right? So completely different style of animal. So I walk up to this guy and I grab his arm, right? And I look at him in the eyes and I go, you know what? My dad used to talk to me the way you are. It didn't end up nice for him. I go, watch how you speak to your kids or else watch what happens to you. And this guy was mortified. Okay, now, full disclosure, like my dad was very nice to me. Okay, so like nothing like that. But
Don't worry, Dad, if you're watching the show.
Yeah. No, my parents are awesome, man. But I wanted the point to be driven. Like I wanted him to be scared. Right? And like this guy was like a deer in the headlights. And he didn't say a word, bro. Didn't say a word, closed his mouth, walked away. And it's just, you know, I could see the kid didn't understand exactly what happened, but he knew somebody defended him, okay? And there was hope in his eyes, man.
Love it.
Yeah. So you definitely did the right thing, right? But then like going back to what I said about holding the door and waiting for a response, that's wrong. That's wrong on us. If we do that, and I stopped doing that. And now I check myself. If I hold the door for somebody, because look, I've been in dark places, right? We all have. And if someone opens the door for you and you're in a dark place, bro, you sometimes forget to say thank you. Though you are appreciative, you forget to say it. So now imagine you're mentally in a dark place and somebody holds the door for you and you're thankful on the inside and the words just don't come out. And then as you're going through, you forgot to say thank you. And this asshole turns around and says, you're welcome. Now you're going to feel like shit, man. You're already in a bad place. You don't mean to be rude about it. Now, I know we know the difference when somebody is in a bad place and somebody isn't, but we don't always, right?
They could be smiling and that smile could be an empty smile because they're putting on a front.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I said that to myself. And then I said... And then, I stopped saying that, but I would still be somewhat irked. And then I said, what are you irked by, bro? Like you're doing a good deed. You're not looking for acknowledgement. You're not looking for response. Now, I would be irked because I just wanted people to be on a path to enlightenment. Okay. But like, you know what? That's not my place to do that. So now I hold the door for people. I don't give a shit. You want to smile? You want to not smile? You want to say thank you? You don't want to say thank you? You want to tell me to fuck off? Cool. That's all good. I don't care. Whatever you want. Whatever, I just do the good deed for the sake of the good deed. That's it, right?
Well, I gotta tell you, Hov, because man, I could be talking to you for like 10 hours, and we will because you're gonna be coming back next week.
Yeah.
Because we got so much more. We're just uncovering the onion, and
I know.
One layer by one layer.
Yes.
So as we're ending today's episode, because we've given out so much information as it is, that message of hope that you're putting there, and having read the Bible 3.0,
Yeah.
what is that message of hope that you got from the book? Where do you feel like what? At the end of the day, what was your source of inspiration when you put down this book?
Okay, so let me ask you a question first to be able to answer my question, or answer your question, I should say.
Absolutely.
What was your goal when you wrote this?
Great question.
Yeah, what was your goal?
Truthfully?
Yeah.
Okay. My goal in the end of it was to take what was in my mind, to put it out there, and to write the greatest book I humanly could produce.
Why?
I always had the burning need to write and to express myself. This was topics that I was very passionate about, things I've talked to people time and time again. And I said, if I want to deliver these messages, I want to deliver them in the most concise, best way. I did it. To me, it was like a work of art. If I was painting a painting or doing a statue, I wanted to produce the greatest art I could, in this case, in written form and in verbal form. That was my goal.
Why did you want to present this information?
Because at the end of the day, I want to help people.
Yeah.
I know when I'm gone and for generations to come, anybody could pick up this book, whether it's in 100, 200 years, and may they find hope. May they be able to make that switch. Maybe they have little changes in their lives, big changes.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I want to help people.
So
pure and simple.
So your question, you're asking me what I felt, what I thought, you know, and my opinion. And you said it, man. This will help people. This will definitely help people. I think it's written in a way, I said it at the beginning, it's written in a way where it's very easy to understand. It's very easy to follow. You connect with the person. You're going to have them break down their barriers. You're going to have them break down their walls. So they're really going to take in what you're saying. Because if a person's not in the frame of mind to take in what information's being presented to them or from the person, okay, it's not going to happen, right? So you do all that very well. And this will help people. This will give people hope. And it's a guide. It's a very simple, follow this guide to get out of the rut that you're in. Okay. And it's very simple because there's nothing complicated about this, bro. It's just written in a way where, and maybe there's like 20, 30, 200, 300 books like this. I don't know. I don't generally read this type of book, not for any reason, negative or positive. I like reading fiction. I read a lot of fiction and I like to read like historical stuff as well, right? So generally speaking, I spend my time doing that because I don't have hours a day to read. So when I do, that's what I read. But you're a friend of mine, and you want to talk about this, so I take the time and do it. It's very motivating, the book. I don't think inspiring's the right word. It's not going to inspire someone, right? But it's going to motivate, and then they can inspire themselves to achieve any type of greatness they want. Because, so we have a mutual friend, Bruce. Okay, he wrote a book, so I ordered his book. Yes. Right, I haven't started. Great. Yeah, I haven't started reading it yet.
Yes,
but it's funny. He starts off, and he talks about just preface and stuff. All right, he's like, I wrote a book. I want people to see that they could be a normal person and live an extraordinary lifestyle. He goes, there's nothing special about me, right? Yeah. Which there is,
except he lives the most extraordinary life possible.
Right, but like. At the end of the day, generally speaking, you're the same person through and through, right? Yes. Money just amplifies who you are.
Yeah.
Okay. So his whole thing is, he's quite successful and he reached a certain place in his life and there's nothing special about him. That's what he's saying. Like, he's not a genius. He's not a brain surgeon. He's not whatever. Yeah. Right. But then again, like, he has a group of skills or whatever you want to call it and traits that have helped him and propelled him and stuff. So you could argue that there is something special. But generally speaking, everybody has a bit of something special inside of them.
That's why we got the gifts chapter. Exactly.
Yeah. It's just how you use it and what you do with it. So yeah, man, I think the book is super, super motivating. I think it guides people and it will lead them out of darkness. Okay. And they just need to understand it's not going to happen overnight. Okay. It's not going to happen overnight. But if you do a little bit of this every day, you're one step closer. You're one step closer. And then once you're out of the darkness, once you're in the world, and then you pass through the world and now you've entered the light, you need to work at staying there. Okay. This is not something that you just achieve and that's it. That's all. I'm there now. No, man.
Then the real work begins.
Then you gotta keep doing it every day to stay there. Okay, it's like getting in shape. You get in shape. Okay, cool. You're in shape now. You gotta keep training. You gotta keep training.
But the thing is, and I talk about in the book, the demons, they come at different times in different forms. Whether it's a physical form, mental form, spiritual form. A lot of us, we get up there. We don't stay there. We go down. We come back up. We go sideways. That's why I love how you touched upon the message, because with this podcast, The Chosen Life, the book, the Bible 3.0, for me, it comes down to motivation, mindfulness, self-improvement.
Yeah.
Get motivated, become mindful of yourself and your life, and work towards self-improvement. Not self-help. I don't like the word self-help.
Yeah.
Improvement, self-improvement. Yeah. So for those people that...
Evolution.
Right?
We evolve. We need to evolve. We need to upgrade every day, man.
And it's that evolution we're going to talk about next week, because after getting to the mindset of the book, we're going to the mind of Hove, and I'm going to pick into his brain a little bit. So stay tuned for that. This is the Chosen Life Podcast.